So here's just a quick little synopsis or explanation of what the CARs, or the controlled articular rotations, are. So what you're trying to do there is take the joint through its full range of motion. In doing that, you're just trying to increase the health of that joint capsule, open up some space in there if it's restricted, and with that, what's in there are the mechanoreceptors that go directly to your brain. And if the receptors here are saying, hey, this is a healthy joint that's able to move the way it's supposed to move, that signal is going to get sent to the brain, and the brain's going to allow the tissue around it to not only loosen up, but just function the way it's meant to function. It's not going to lock it down, where you get those restrictions, or maybe lack of strength or anything like that. So two quick ones that we want to go over just in a lot of detail are the shoulders and the hips. So for the shoulders, looks like you're just doing an arm circle, right? But what you really want to do is try to focus on whatever joint you're trying to move. So I could do a really big arm circle, but I'm opening up, I'm getting my scapula involved. So if I really want to isolate that joint, that glenohumeral joint in the shoulder, what I'm going to do is I can hold on to something here, and what I'm going to do is create tension and kind of irradiate that tension through my body, so that's nice and solid. So when I get here and I start to kind of feel that block, I'm not going to just compensate. Everything else is kind of locked down. So I think if I say a level 1 CARS, that's going to be like a morning routine. So you're going to have a little bit of tension, maybe about 30 to 40% of maximal tension through your body, and maybe 20% tension here, so acting like the air is 20% thicker as we're going through. So I'm not just whipping through it, but I'm kind of imposing that restriction on myself to go maybe 20% slower here, rotating around. I mean, here, level 2 CARS, which we'll get into as well, is just going to up that about 20%, 20 to 30% on each side. So now I've got maybe 60 to 70% tension through here, so I'm really kind of bearing down throughout my torso, my arm, my glutes, my legs are engaged, and now I'm going 30 to, or more like 40 to 50% self-imposed restriction here. So air is 40 to 50% thicker now, so I'm only going really slow here. And at the top, the tendency is going to be to move from your shoulder blade, your scapula. So what I want you to do, as we start rotating, back up here so you can see, you're actually going to try to rotate your bicep. So that may mean you make a smaller circle, but that is okay. So when we get down to the bottom here, notice my palm is actually facing my thigh. So that's how much rotation we're getting. And then reverse, starting to rotate around here. So that would be 1 rep. Then going again, tension through my body. Starts to feel about as far as it's going to go. Going to start rotating, rotating. Back here. And then reverse. So very little movement through the rest of my body. Just really trying to focus in on the joint there. For the hip, same thing. Maybe a better view from the side here. So I'm picking my knee up and out. And when I'm out, I don't want to twist this hip. I want to keep this hip facing straight ahead. Just trying to open up as much as I can here. And then for that internal rotation, as I tilt, you can see I'm starting to kind of rock forward from the side. That pelvis wants to move and compensate. So I want to eliminate that. That may mean the knee doesn't stay quite as high, but that's okay. So hip CARS here, rotating, trying to eliminate or at least minimize any movement through the pelvis, and then extending back and reverse. Extending back and reverse. So that's 1. So going up, out, holding on to something to create that tension through my torso. Rotate. The knee's starting to drop because mine's not great. Back, and then just reverse that movement there. So again, not going for the biggest circles, just trying to really isolate that joint function and improve the health in that joint capsule. And we'll go over this a little bit more in detail for different positions we can be in, and more about the different levels of cars and how much effort you're putting into it for different purposes.